to tomorrow's Animo 7-year-old final. And to start us off this morning, it is a horse owned by Alexia Thermiotis, a 7-year-old mare by Balu de Rouet. It is number 507, Value's Penny. For our first to go, Luis Fernando Larrazabal.
Good morning and welcome to Split Rock here at the Kentucky Horse Park. It's week 2 of the Hunter Jumper Classic, and we're on with our 7-year-olds building up towards their 7-year-old final. We always showcase the young horses during Split Rock, and these 2 weeks no exception. And we start with a Balu de Rouet's son, Balu de Rouet daughter, Balu's Penny, Luis Fernando Larrazabal. Balu de Rouet producing over 70 meter 60 jumpers, including probably one in form at the moment, Balatonu, the horse that Laura Kraut took over from Adam Prudent and jumped well with on the Nations Cup in Rome, and then into a podium finish in the Grand Prix of that Nations Cup show in Rome, the first observation trial for the US team for the Tokyo Olympics. So our class format this morning for the track set by Oscar Soberon is a 2-phase special. He's jumping up the double line on the side of the ring, just going up towards the in-gate here at the Claiborne at the Kentucky Horse Park. So going forward on the 0 score into the second phase now. The class will be ranked based on faults and time in this second phase, well, cumulative faults across the 2 phases and time in the second phase. But as a special format, 2-phase, National Table 2D, it means that everyone progresses to jump the second phase. So double clear, 31.597 for the Balu de Rouet daughter, Balu's Penny, following the footsteps of a famous father and many, many good, well-related horses jumping at meter 60, as I say, over 70 of them by Balu de Rouet. A mare called the One and Only, Belgian Warm Blood by Dictator van der Boslendhoven. Dictator, a Spy Coast Farm stallion, standing right here in Lexington, Kentucky. Jumped by Shane Sweetnam and Lorcan Gallagher to the top level. Charlie Jane riding for Caneb Equine Ventures. Again, this young stallion, Dictator van der Boslendhoven, already with 2 meter 60 horses, Koblenz van der Meddelstede. Koblenz being jumped in Europe by Darren Demisroy of Turkey. The last goes over there. So good time, 28.308, but with the 4 faults, as you say, Balu's Penny and Luis Fernando Larrazabal getting the first double clear in 31.5. Charlie Jane and One and Only showing a cleaner set of heels, but with the 4 faults. So Celsini, the sire of Chelasco, being ridden by Coca Faith for Hillside Farm. Celsini going back through the meter 60 jumper Celano to Contender. Cour de la Brière and Quidam de Revel lines in Celsini's breeding.
Final fence goes as well. There it is, a score of 8 in 30.856. 8 there for Coco Faith and the Hillside Farms, Chelasco Z. One double clear so far, Luis Fernando Lorazabal and the Balu de Rue side, Balu's Penny. But now we move on, riding for Valhalla with MHS Sarina. It's Christine Carlson, 481.
So on course, MHS Tsarina Christina Carlson riding for Valhalla. Still just that one double clear from first out of the box. As Coca Faith and Chelasco brought home 8 in the second phase. The sire of this one, Et Toulon VDL, no surprise by Toulon, himself by Heartbreaker. And the dam sire here of the stallion Et Toulon is Calvados. So double clear for Christina Carlson and MHS Sarina in 31.596, actually just moving it on by 0.003 of a second. So Vasco Flores and Jesselton for Sweet Ventures. Vasco and Jesselton, this is the one by Et Toulon. My apologies to the connections of MHS Sarina. MHS Sarina would have come through the Millhouse Stud breeding program. Also at the Olympic horse for Greg Broderick, MHS going global back in the day. So this horse is Etulon VDL, leading jumper progeny. Jumping metre 45, metre 50. Coming around on the double clear. Not a bad time. 30.399. Savasca Flores and Jesselton go into the lead. The Dutch Warm Blood by Etulon VDL, Vasca Flores and Jesselton. Time to beat 30.399 in this first 7-year-old class, building up towards the 7-year-old final tomorrow. So Columba, Mexican-bred mare. Jesus Francisco Rantes. Jesus owns and rides. Split rock double, far side of the ring. So 6th to go. 3 double clears around both phases, and unfortunately just grinding to a halt there in front of those dark rails. That was the natural fence. It was fence 2 on our big metre 40 course yesterday. Those materials were moved, of course, elsewhere in the ring this morning. So it'll be faults and time in the first phase. The refusal just going to put them outside the time allowed in that first phase, but they do go on. It's totting up to a total of 15. So clear in the second phase in 31.445. Not bad at all in the second phase, but those 15 faults from the first will count against them. And they go down the order into 6th. Glasgow Van Het Medal's Nest is the sire of our next 7-year-old here this morning in the Animo 7-year-old Power and Speed. This is Golden Opportunity, Dutch Warm Blood for Top Horses LLC, ridden by Chris Killam. Glasgow Van Het Medal's Nest, the VDL stallion by Nabab Derev, goes back to Kidam de Revel, and on the dam side goes back very quickly to Darko, the Ludo Philippart's horse. Glasgow with over 600 performance progeny competing across not just jumping, there's a few in the eventing world as well. Just takes the rail early on in the second phase to put them on a combined total of 8. And the last goes as well. So it's 4 in the first phase, 8 in the second. So 12 jumping faults for the Glasgow Van Het Merlin's Nest. Golden Opportunity and Chris Killam.
So far in the Animo 7-year-olds here this morning. It is down to Ireland's Richie Maloney, the Rigo riding for Equanimity with this mare, right here in the USA. By dictator by the Boston Over, it is Daisy Cutter, 1280, and Richie Maloney.
Richie Maloney with Equanimity's Daisy Cutter. Another 7-year-old here in the Animo Power and Speed at Split Rock to be by the Spy Coast Stallion Dictator van der Boslandhover. So a metre 60 horse for both Shane Sweetnam and Lorcan Gallagher. Dictator by Thunder van der Zuthover. So that takes you back to Argentinus and Nimodor, and on the dam side through Capital to Capitol. So Richie so far on the clear as he comes to the changeover. Straight into the double in the second phase, but as everyone progresses, that's no problem for the course to be set in that fashion. So clear, 32.047. It will go down the order a little bit. Fourth place for Richie with Daisy Cutter. So riding for US Olympian Lauren Huff, the next one, Adrian Iverson with A Walk in the Park. Swedish bred by Magic Park. 30.399 to beat at the top of affairs in this Animo 7-year-old Power and Speed. Magic Park, a Swedish metre 60 jumping stallion with Alexander Zederman and also with Ireland's Dennis Lynch. Magic Park by Armitage, so again goes back to Argentinus, which Dennis would know well as having been the sire of his Aachen Grand Prix winner Latinus. And on the dam side back through Ahorn to Nimodor. This is amongst the oldest progeny of this horse, the oldest performance progeny, 2014 years of birth and jumping metre 30, metre 35. Just coming around to the last to make it a double clear. It's going to be quite an economic and forward one as well. Sub 30 seconds, 29.389. Adrian Iverson of Canada and A Walk in the Park go into the lead in our Animo 7-year-old Power and Speed. So the Swedish warm blood, a walk in the park, leads Vasco Flores with the Dutch warm blood Jesselton in second, Christina Carlson and MHS Sarina in third. So out there on track at the moment is Sam Berry. Sam with Amelia Faith Bennett's Irocco Blue. Irocco, the Dutch warm blood by the VDL sire Irocco Blue. So Irocco Blue VDL jumped to the top level in recent years with Your Vreeling by Mr. Blue, out of a Voltaire mare himself. And of course, Irocco Blue, as well as jumping to metre 60 himself, coming through as a good sire of top jumpers. I mean, over here, you had the good horse Cat Ninja jumping to metre 60. As Irocco Blue and Sam go on through into the second phase, carrying 4 though in the first phase of jumping. The last goes as well to make it a total of 8 jumping falls for Irocco Blue and Sam Berry. 29.08 on the clock, so with that total of 8, they will go down the order. Looks like going into 7th at the moment. So Sid Schulman with Jill Schulman's Daytona SE by Durrant. Another Swedish warm blood in our field. Durrant by Varant. Has meter 45 records here in the United States of America, the sire of this one with Cara Dayton. Quite a few international jumpers, meter 35, meter 40, already by this Swedish warm blood sire, Durrant. So clear all the way around, steady on the ground, 33.345 for Sid Schulman, and Daytona SE goes into our 6th best position for the Israeli Nations Cup rider, Sid Schulman. Well, our second Balou de Rouet now. Holstein's Bacardi de Baloo, Sophia Stud. This one registered into the Danish Warmblood stud book. Sophia with Holstein's Bacardi de Baloo for Maria Stud. Balou de Rouet, licensed at the moment for the Hanoverian, the Holsteiner, the Mecklenburg-Vorpomeranian, the Oldenburger, the Rhinelander, the Sol Francais, the Swedish Warmblood, the Westphalian, and the Zangerscheide stud books. Just unlucky coming out of the split rock double there on the far side of the ring. Holstein's Bacardi de Baloo. We're going to have the last as well. That's gone quite a few times already for our 7-year-old horses. Holstein's Bacardi de Baloo and Sophia Stud for Denmark will finish up on a total of 12 in the Animo 7-year-old Power and Speed. Plenty of double clears from amongst our young horses, 6 of them at the moment. And leading is Adrian Iverson with Lauren Huff. So walk in the park on 29.389. So we've go one generation down the family tree here for Cupcake, Alex Granato, because this Danish Warmblood is by Baloo, himself by Balou de Rouet. Alex Granato owns and rides. Looking to be clear around number 7 in the Animo 7-year-old Power and Speed. So unfortunately an early 4 here, just scuttles into the base of that one as they cross the arena. Just this low sun will be casting a lot of long shadows across the Claiborne ring this morning. Out over the last on 4:29.973, a competitive time. So trying out the gears, but with the early 4, Alex Granato and Cupcake will go into 8th. Charlie Jane with the fastest 4, Falter holds 7th, and then 6 clears right the way around the 2 phases. Back to Canada. Canada in the lead at the moment with Adrian Iverson. Brian Morton's in the ring with Iceman de Ussois. This Belgian Warmblood owned by Spruce Meadows Limited. Iceman de Uswa by Hunter Sendro, which goes back to Sendix, Lugano Sitter, the dam sire of the stallion here. Iceman de Uswa has meter 30 international records on his card. So Iceman de Uswa going to go double clear in a very, very fast time, 27.777.
Robert Castro's Cabo Frio DBZ 1504 for Mark Blumen.
It's Mark Blumen with the Zangerscheider bred Cabo Frio DVZ for Robert Castro. So Brian Morton just moments ago setting our new time to beat with Iceman de Uswa. By the meter 40 jumper Hunter's Sendro. So this one in the ring by Cavallo, as I say, appearing in the Zangerscheider stud book. Cavallo by Cartago, which go back to Capitol, and the dam sire of this one, Levisto. So Cavallo jumped to meter 40 international himself with the German rider Kevin Lemke. So Cabo Frio DVZ going through into the second phase. On zero, but having the second last in the second phase down as they come steadily around to the last. 27.77, the leading time. You can see already over 30 seconds as they just cruise around that last rollback turn, but unfortunately have that final fence down as well. Quite a long course for these young horses early in the morning as well. And you see that come through once or twice as they just find the distance counting against them. So 8 faults for Cabo Frio DVZ, Mark Blumen. Still 7 clears right the way around the track, and Brian Morton and Iceman de Uswa, the fastest of them in 27.777. Well, Just Jeremy ES is our next to go. Frank Owens with DS Holdings, Just Jeremy ES, by one of the world's leading sires in Cannon. Cannon being the sire of some fantastic horses in our sport, including, of course, the individual Olympic champion in 2012, Nina de Buissonnet, for Steve Gerdat, Just Jeremy E.S. and Frank Owens. 7-year-old by Cannon. Go clear and into fourth on 30.437 in our Animo 2 phase.
The time to beat with 5 left to go. This Swedish bred mare is by Baltimore. It's Arizona, number 475, Terry Kessler.
Terry Kessler, Terry owns and rides the Swedish warm blood Arizona, Arizona by Baltimore. Terry's been having a good show with us here over the course of the 2 weeks in the horse park. To Baltimore, a metre-60 jumper. The sire of this one is by Balu de Rouet. So, of course, we go then back through Balu de Rouet to Galabay 8, the 1982 world champion. The dam sire of Arizona is Nintendo by Namulus R. Baltimore, the sire of this one, jumped to metre-60. A few riders, Rolf Joran Bengtsson, Malin Barrio Johnson, ridden the horse. Luis Felipe de Azevedo as well. Arizona coming home with 4 in each phase, and the last goes as well for a total of 12 for Terry Kessler and Arizona. 28.771. So fast, but the faults will keep them right away onto this Table A format, with faults and time the deciding factor. So Taylor Fleury and Fufu Z. Halibu Farm owning this Zangerscheide bred 7-year-old by Fernando H. Fernando H by For Feeling, back to For Pleasure and Furioso on that side. Very quickly back to Cordoba Briere on the dam side. The stallion here. Just approaching the last. Double clear, the time just behind the leading pack, 30.098 for Fufu. And goes into third, but 2 Canadians leading the way. Brian Morton and Adrian Iverson, 1-2, with Taylor Fleury in third with Fufu.
This is 10:28. It's a galley by Animo. It is Bradley for Sarah Sturgis, 10:28.
So Bradley and Sarah Sturgis. Sarah owns and rides Bradley by Emillon. Emillon, the Dutch warm blood, sire by Wellington, back to Nimmerdoor. Bradley's dam side Tangela van der Zoethoeven. The dam here on Bradley, Varon by Tangelo, as I said, jumped in her own right and also competed to an intermediate level in pure dressage. So carrying 8 as they go on. But, unfortunate go there at number 6, taking it out at the roots somewhat unfortunately. 4 at the ESI footing here on this phase now as well. So Sarah Sturgis and Bradley will end up on that total of 12. 8 in the first phase, 4 in the second phase. Time 33:897. So Mark McCone, our penultimate combination, Mark, with the US bred KWPN J Abacus by Emerald van Ruytershoff. So Emerald van Ruytershoff by Diamant de Semi, ridden by Harry Smulders, sire of such top horses as Igor, with Jos Verlooy over in Belgium. The J Abacus picking up time faults in the first phase. Total of 2 of them for Mark McCone, just swinging back with 4 faults in the second phase as they approach the last. 32.714, so it's a total of 6 in 32.714 for Mark McCone and J Abacus. So just one more challenger to see whether we're going to get 10 double clears around the 2 phases. We have 9 at the moment. Sid Schulman and Daytona SE there in 9th. Richard Maloney, Daisy Cutter, Luis Fernando Larrazabal, Balus Penny, Christine Carlson, MHS Zarina, Frank Owens, Just Jeremy, ES, Vasco Flores, Yeselton, Taylor Fleury, Fufu Z, Adrian Iverson, Walk in the Park, and leader at the moment, Brian Morton and Iceman de Uswa on 27.777. Last to take up the challenge of the Animo 7-year-old Power and Speed before they come back for their final tomorrow is going to be Flip de Vandel, Flip with Five Way Farms, Olympic van der Meerhove, Olympic van der Meerhove by Nabab Derev. Nabab Derev, sire of plenty of impressive horses, including in his own right the including that top sire Kashmir van Schutershof. But Olympic de Meerhove and Flip de Vandel are going to pick up just the one for time in the second phase, 36.503, which means we end up with him in 10th place on that single time fault. But it is 9 double clears around the 2 phases of the Animo competition, and a win for Canada in the shape of Brian Morton and Iceman de Uswa. So 9 double clears, as we say. Sidney Schulman of Israel in 9th position in the final analysis. In 8th, Richie Maloney and Daisy Cutter. In 7th, Luis Fernando Larrazabal and Balus Penny. Christine Carlson, MHS Zarina in 6th. Frank Owens, Just Jeremy, ES 5th. Vasco Flores, Yeselton 4th. Taylor Fleury, Fufu in 3rd. Highest placed US rider on the podium. Adrian Iverson and A Walk in the Park take 2nd. But 27.777 seconds clear around both phases for Brian Morton and Iceman de Uswa. Well, awards coming up for our first class of the day. First of 4 classes here in the Claiborne. We've got our junior amateur competition coming up in just a few minutes' time when we reset the track. And then it is going to be, that's our Horseflight sponsored Meter Forte Junior Amateur Speed. Horseflight, of course, sponsors throughout the series of the Fist Pump Challenge here at Split Rock as well. We've got a jump-off format competition on our Meter 40 National Tour coming up around lunchtime, and then our first FEI Tour competition, the Meter 40 Speed, a Table A one-round competition for $10,000 coming up at the end of the day here. Provisional start time of 4 p.m. for the FEI class, of 12:30 for the Meter 40 jump-off, and our next class due to start here at 9:30 this morning, the Horseflight Meter 40 Junior Amateur Speed. But we've concluded the Animo 7-year-old Power and Speed. Looking forward to the Animo 7-year-old final tomorrow morning, and if you want to keep an eye on all of the results and all of the schedules, do check out the Split Rock Jumping Tour app and follow along, not just what's happening here in the Claiborne, but also all of our jumper and hunter rings here during Hunter Classic Week 2.
Luis Fernando Lorazabal and Valu's Penny. 6th is Christine Carlson, NHS Sarina. 5th, Frank Owens and Just Jeremy. It's 4th, Tabasco Flores and Jesselton. In 3rd, Taylor Fleury and Thufu Zed. 2nd, Adrian Everson, A Walk in the Park. And the winner of the Animo 7-year-olds, Brian Morton, Iceman, de Hussoy. Thank you to Animo. Please pay their trade stand a visit in the retail village. And thank you to Horsefly for sponsoring the $500 fist pump award. As we say well done to Brian Morton, Iceman, de Hussoy. The winner of this morning's Animo 7-year-olds with Iceman du Hussoy is Brian Morton. Great to see the young horses getting the recognition that they truly deserve here at the Split Rock Jumping Tour. Iceman de Hussoy, a name to remember. Well done to Brian Morton, who's ringside with Jay Duke.
I am here with the riding master of Spruce Meadows from Calgary, Alberta, Brian Morton. Brian, your second win here at FEI 3-Star Week at Split Rock. Perfect conditions. The footing is great. The weather is great. Super way to wrap up your circuit here for a long time in the U.S. What are your thoughts on what you've experienced here at Split Rock this week?
Well, I really appreciate the effort that everybody's put into giving us an extra special experience. You know, this ring has a lot of atmosphere. You can see that I almost think in Europe, you know, with the little bit smaller ring, but intimate and atmosphere and great course design. So it's been a wonderful experience and a thrill to win here.
Congratulations to you and to Canada. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, Jay.
Can't resist kiss. I used to keep it all